For all their ability to give the experience of enticing stories, engaging gameplay, and immersive world design, video games can also use these factors to shock us. Some of the darkest moments in any form of media are represented in video games, with their interactivity oftentimes making the anguishable experience much more tangible than if the same thing happened in a movie or a TV show. Your opinion on what constitutes dark may differ, but of course, the 15 moments discussed in this rundown are inarguably macabre, upsetting on one end of the spectrum, downright harrowing at the other. Also, it's worth pointing out that there's spoilers for the games featured. You've been warned. The Bloody Baron, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Arguably the most morally bankrupt NPC Geralt encounters in The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, the Bloody Baron's history as an abuser to wife Anna and daughter Tamara is revealed during Geralt's attempt to locate the Baron's estranged family in exchange for information on his own daughter's whereabouts. Neither of the Baron's conclusions are favorable for him, or indeed his wife Anna. Should both the Baron and Anna survive, Anna will have succumbed to madness whilst a band of witches abscond with the orphans of whom she was residing. Should Anna die, the Baron will tragically hang himself due to a lifetime of grief and guilt. Paz Ortega, Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. Paz Ortega's ordeals in Camp Omega at the hands of Skullface are horrific. Immense physical and psychological torture, including the implication of assault, precedes the insertion of explosives into her body, with several internal organs taken out to make room. Once Big Boss arrives and Paz's belly scar is spotted, there's no option but to rush through a dramatic, anesthesia-free surgery, and it's one of the grimmest scenes ever seen in video games.
There's another in my...
James's Delusions, Silent Hill 2. Analyzing the themes in Silent Hill 2 reveals a narrative laced with oppressed guilt, shame, love, and lust, and these themes are explored through the twisted manifestation James encounters throughout his time in the eponymous, mist-strewn town of Silent Hill. Contorted mannequins representing locked-away desires, bubblehead nurses resembling the final throes of his late wife Mary's time in a hospital, and the abstract daddy, a threatening incarnation of NPC Angela's past trauma. However, these monsters pale in comparison to Pyramid Head, the knife-wielding representation of James's lust for punishment, his inner torment incarnate. David Archer, Mass Effect 2 Overlord. Born an autistic mathematical savant, David Archer, brother of Cerberus chief scientist Dr. Gavin Archer, developed an ability to communicate with sentient AI race, the Geth, and thus became vulnerable to exploitation for Project Overlord's gain. This experiment to control the Geth saw David strapped into an instrument of virtual intelligence by his own brother, and with his eyes prized open, his body punctured by mechanical affixes and tubes protruding from his mouth. It's a heartbreaking vision of body horror above any other moment of darkness in Mass Effect's entire trilogy.
His autistic mind can interpret the Geth language at its most basic form and mimic their phonetics, with his photographic memory cross-referencing the meaning as a snap. He's literally a human computer.
And you think he can interface with the Geth's neural network?
I do.
Is that even safe, Doctor?
I see no harm in finding out.
Father Gascoigne, Viola, and the Young Girl, Bloodborne. Seasoned hunter Father Gascoigne became so drunk on bloodlust during his nightly hunts that he'd forget who his family were, so his wife Viola would play him a tiny music box as an audible aid memoir. The implication that Father Gascoigne slays Viola on a night that she forgot the tiny music box is tragic enough, but the request from the pair's daughter, Young Girl, to find her allegedly dead mother heaps further heart-ending poignancy. The outcome for Young Girl is upsetting either way too. Pass on her mother's red jewel brooch and she'll collapse in hysterics. Or, alternatively, direct her to Odeon Chapel or Yosefka's clinic where she'll fall prey to the man-eater boar in the former, or transform into a celestial minion if a shortcut to the latter is known. Joel's Fate, The Last of Us Part 2.
This is my brother.
Joe.
act like you heard of us or something.
Because they have.
Laura, all clear?
He's out. Put him against the wall.
In a sequel full of macabre moments, Ellie killing Mel, hanging bodies in the TV station, Ellie smashing Nora's skull in, Abby's encounter with the Rat King, Shimmer's death. It's Joel's painful demise by the hand of Abby's golf club which gets the nod for this feature purely on how unexpected the moment is. Ellie stumbles into the WLF hideout at the climax of Joel's savage beating, and despite Joel's moral ambiguity, we as players grow a deep fondness for him. His death is shocking and divisive, and one of the principal reasons many disliked The Last of Us Part 2. Lisa, PT. Lisa is the terrifying apparition stalking you through the looping suburban corridors of Hideo Kojima's PT, and her apparent murder by her husband is revealed via mysterious radio broadcasts plus the bone-chilling sounds of her grisly death played out in the house's bathroom. Her right eye is gouged out, but most disturbing of Lisa's appearance is the blood oozing out of her belly, which, when considering the harrowing audio of her murder, is the result of her husband stabbing her whilst pregnant. Dutch and Arthur, Red Dead Redemption 2. Dutch van der Linde is multidimensional, operating with both loyalty and narcissism. His success as gang leader perhaps led to an overinflated ego, a feeling that he's so untouchable. This interpretation might explain him abandoning Arthur during Red Dead Redemption 2's warehouse raid, but regardless of his motives, the sight of Arthur desperately pushing back the blade directed at his chest, his cries for help met with the sight of Dutch selfishly escaping, it's undeniably upsetting.
That's winning enough for me. Mine!
Oh, Arthur. You damn fools.
I told you, Dutch, that he'd come back here to rob us, like I said he would. I came to take what's mine. You rat. I ain't no rat, Black Lung. Micah. You're the rat. Now, Molly, Dutch, it's him. Him! Kill him! Not Molly. Now, Miss Grimshaw. Not even go. You're dying, Black Lung, and you've gone crazy. Let him damn us all, Dutch. Come on, Dutch. Gotta go. Dutch. Let's go. I never...
The Dark Place, Alan Wake 2. Described by Remedy Entertainment's principal narrative designer Molly Maloney as a realm of nightmares, The Dark Place in Alan Wake's universe is a shape-shifting prison, a surreal alt-dimension reflecting any number of realities, a manifestation of the mind's anguish. Anxiety-inducing shadows aside, Wake's time spent in The Dark Place in Alan Wake 2 is unfathomably tense. A sense of powerlessness against oppressive forces juxtaposed with the capability to rewrite reality in the real world. Mount Massive Asylum, Outlast. Remote psychiatric hospital Mount Massive Asylum is the target of investigative journalist Miles Upsher's research in Outlast, and despite a whistle-blown tip-off that inhumane experiments are occurring, nothing can prepare Miles for what's really going on. Mount Massive Asylum is an encapsulation of the worst human depravity. Inspired by real-life human brainwashing experiments, the asylum's already psychologically traumatized patients were subject to extreme horror to trigger psychosomatic responses before entering a lucid dream state. General Deathshed, Wolfenstein: The New Order. A triumphant reboot renowned for its hyperviolence harbors a few moments of gruesome horror, most notably in General Deathshed's sickening contraption to rip a person back open, drill a hole in their skull, and suck out their brain, all while they're still alive. In command of BJ Blazkowicz, you're forced to choose which of your comrades gets subjected to the most stomach-churning of demises. It's one of those moments which, once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. Cutie the Elephant Queen. It Takes Two. For all the violence and depravity in this rundown, the torture and killing of a charming toy elephant is up there with the absolute darkest. It Takes Two really messes with your heart in this scene, whereby feuding parents Cody and May resolve to killing their daughter's favorite stuffed animal in hopes of making her cry. But the scene is harrowing in numerous ways. Cutie's tragic pleas for survival aside, it's the toy's representation of childhood purity and innocence being destroyed which gives this scene its shock factor. Lady Dimitrescu's daughters, Resident Evil Village. Bella, Daniela, and Cassandra Dimitrescu weren't always the trio of vampiric monsters that we see hounding Ethan Winters throughout the Daughtry corridors of Castle Dimitrescu. Not a lot is known about their true origin, but it's understood that generations before the events of Resident Evil Village, Lady Dimitrescu adopted daughters who were normal humans, perhaps noble women taken by Lady D for experimentation. The tragedy here, though, is the three sisters remember nothing of their previous life. They're evil entities against their will. Simon 3's Fate, Soma. Posing some of the greatest existential quandaries is Soma, a game which explores the conceptual ambiguity of copying human consciousness. For Simon, naive in his misunderstanding on consciousness' continuity, he learns the hard way whether he destroys life-preserving AI WAU or not, that his consciousness indeed doesn't transfer. We sense the briefest triumph as Simon deposits his consciousness into the spacebound Ark, but he doesn't experience it. Simon 3's fate is unknown. He's left behind in dark, subaquatic abyss, abandoned, scared, and alone. Flowers for a Lady, Red Dead Redemption. When John Marston stumbles upon an aging Billy picking flowers for his wife Annabelle, he doesn't foresee the sadness lying in wait. After offering to help gather wild feverfew, red sage, and purple desert sage to craft a beautiful bouquet in celebration of their 50th wedding anniversary, John reconvenes with Billy, who invites him into their homestead. Here, it's obvious to everyone but Billy that Annabelle has been dead for some time. She sits upright, a flesh-rotten carcass whom Billy remarks would love to visit Blackwater to ride in a motor car. Hey, did you know that we at GamingBolt upload new videos every day? Stick around, drop a like, subscribe, and hit that bell. And let us know what kind of content you'd like to see in the future with a comment below.